Two teams who have been on a collision course since the beginning of this season are now meeting in the finals. This is the BC Boys AA Provincial Championship Tournament live on TFSETV.ca from the Langley Event Center. I'm Max Sussman. With me is Zach Griffin. The matchup, the defending champions, 26-2 on the season, #1 seed Charles Hayes Rainmakers against the King George Dragons, the 2 seed 27-3. Charles Hayes only lost to quadruple A teams in Handsworth and Centennial, top 10 quadruple A teams. But Zach, on the other side of things, maybe the best player in the province is Nikola Guzina, for the King George Dragons.
Nikola Jokic would be the best player in this tournament.
No doubt.
But yeah, Nikola Guzina averaging 29, 16, and 8 coming into this tournament. The player to watch, a lot of eyes on him. And a quick whistle beforehand. A little bit of pushing and shoving and jostling on the tip. So we'll get a retoss.
Starters first for the Charles Hayes Rainmakers, Tyler Jones, Brendan Esham, and Rylan Adams. The guards around Kai Layton, the star of this team, and Caden Pagans. That's Layton with the floater to start off, and he's got it.
And that's his range. Really operates within 10 feet of the basket. He's got a very solid jumper. He can go to the outside, but that's where he's most comfortable finishing, as well as taking those little mid-range jump shots.
For the Dragons, the starters, Guzina had the ball a second ago, along with Gareth Winchess. They are the forwards. The guards, Romel Ayobe and Alejandro Rios, who missed that shot.
And it's so important for King George to get off to a good start.
And Ayobe hits the first shot of the game, and there's the first cartwheel from head coach Darko Coolidge.
There was a pregame one as well, so up to 2 cartwheels. But they're such an emotional team that if they get down, how can they sustain that kind of energy? The best way is they need to get off to a hot start.
This famed King George 2-3 zone is busted by Kai Layton. Pagans the finish.
And you know this team, coached by the Bishops, father and son, that high-low passing between Pagans and Layton is going to be there, and it's going to be the primary look to attack this King George 2-3.
Silvio Succi is the 5th starter for King George. The coach is Mel Bishop, longtime Charles Hayes Rainmakers coach, and Darko Coolidge for King George. Early subs for the Rainmakers as Dalen Moody Moraes comes in. Here's Guzina with Layton on him. This right here is the matchup for the game. Guzina's 6'9", great ball skills. Rios, somebody's got to come help him. It's Ayobe. Romel Ayobe into the corner. Guzina. Guzina's going to pull up for 3, and he got it. Nikola Guzina makes it a 6-4 King George lead.
And he's going to be the best player on the floor in this game. It's going to be Guzina. And if he's going to be hitting shots like that in the early going, it's going to be trouble for Charles Hayes. They're going to put Layton on it, but he only put up 12 points last night. Was basically facing triple teams the entire game. Anyone but Guzina is the rallying cry, and probably has been for the majority of his games this season.
He did have 5 assists, and he put 5 other players in double digits in that win. Here's Jones to Pagans. What a pass, Tyler Jones. And this team, with Liam McChesney last year, ran away with this tournament. This year, no doubt, just a more well-rounded team, though, without one transcendent star. Guzina fires from 3, no good. Pagans the rebound. It's a tie game here, 7:44 left in the first quarter. If I didn't say it, I'm Max Sussman. He's Zach Griffin. You're watching the BC Boys AA Provincial Basketball Finals here on TFSETV.ca. 3 ball, no good from Rylan Adams. The rebound chased down. Kai Layton out of bounds. Last touched by the Dragons. And Guzina anchoring this 2-3 zone, which is not unlike Kelowna's trap, kind of their calling card for King George.
Yeah, and he's been moved around over the course of his career at King George. Now that when he was first on this team, that's going to be a foul called on the rebound. It's going to be on Rylan Adams. But he started off Guzina when he was a 10th grader on this team that lost in the finals 2 years ago. Now the senior anchoring the defense, so it's going to be him manning the paint, watching that high-low. He's got to be the one to come out and challenge, but also make sure Pagans and Layton get their shots at least altered if they try to go at the rim.
And he's got to be careful not to get into foul trouble. Fade away, no good from Sushi, and it's out of bounds off the Dragons.
I think they're going to call a foul actually on Winches. There's so much intensity on this team. Those are going to be fouls you can expect to see a little bit. The crashing, trying to make something happen from behind. Right now, Charles Hayes is doing a very good job at pushing King George out of the middle. They're settling for jump shots, and they've hit a few early ones, but right now they can't get anything really going, nothing cutting, and no one can get any kind of penetration dribbling the ball.
Layton inside, fouled by Guzina, and one.
Kyle Layton.
Layton on the board here.
Basket's good. Foul 9, Guzina.
That was on Guzina.
Team foul for the Dragons.
And that'll be a big thing. If Kai Layton can get at Guzina and get him in foul trouble, that might spark disaster for King George.
They need Guzina on the floor. It's not like their last champion, like second place team, where it was all about their defense atop that 2-3 zone to get out and run. This is very much a team built around a star player in Nikola Guzina. As a foul's called, Alejandro Rios draws that one.
Yeah, between the top two players 2 years ago, the guys who play the two in the 2-3 zone, I think between the two of them, they averaged about a dozen steals per game.
Something like that. Looking for Guzina on the tip, but Layton beat him to the ball. Here's Adams, now Jones. Into the corner, Pagans kicks back up top to Jones. Jones will fire the three, no good. Rebound from Gareth Winchus. Plays much bigger than his size at 6'1". Rios, they want to post up Guzina. Layton fronting, what a catch, Guzina, blocked by Pagans. And a late whistle as he got him on the body.
Foul Rainmakers, 14 Pagans. His first personal foul, game 13th foul.
Was Darko booing that foul call?
No, he was mocking the crowd for booing that foul call.
In your program,
Guzina's first free throw, rims in. This Charles Hayes team, Zach, 7 players have led them in scoring this season. And I believe 7 averaged 10 a game.
It was something like, yeah, at least at one point have led them in scoring in a game. Such a deep team, anyone can really get their shots if they need to. So if they can play at this sort of slower style, I mean, no one. The difficulty is there's no one player you can lock in on, try and take out.
If you double Kai Layton, he will make the smart pass. And this Rainmakers team so good at cutting to the basket. They want to post up Guzina on Layton. The double comes. Guzina, a willing passer himself, skips it. Iyobe steps into a rhythm three. No good. 11-8. Charles Hayes leads, trying to repeat as BC Boys AA provincial champs. Last year ran away with it. Layton into Winchus. Fade away from Layton. Really tough shot. And Mel Bishop's not going to love that. Layton settling for a 16-foot fadeaway. So here come the Dragons. Rios. It's back to Rios. Gets inside, drops off Winchus. Power dribble off the bottom of the rim. Rebound out of bounds. Winchus knocked it off Layton.
Yeah, right now it feels like they're trying to do everything they can, as they should, to get it away from Guzina. So someone right now has to step up for King George, hit a shot to try and force Charles Hayes to maybe not put so much emphasis on Guzina.
Pass was a little flat. Layton stole it. He'll go right at Guzina, and Guzina draws the charge. Feet were moving, but Layton initiates the contact.
Offensive foul, number 10.
The big fella for King George.
Yeah, if anything, he tried to lean back a little bit to kind of soften the impact. So yeah, they're looking for the chest. Where's the contact coming? Who's the one who's initiating? and that time it was clearly on Kai Layton trying to attack, get that second foul called on Guzina, who just took the hit, and that's a big play.
It's a foul on Layton, his first. Either one of those guys get into foul trouble, it will shift the tenor of this game. Suchi inside, they'll kick it back up. Guzina opts out of the three, not a lot of space to work with. He'll just go at Layton, spins, a lot of contact, out of bounds off Kai Layton. Guzina wants a whistle.
Yeah, he's trying to force it. He had the wide open three at the top there and just overthought it.
If he can make them respect his three-point shot, he becomes nigh impossible to guard. Rios at the end of the shot clock for three, no. Long rebound. Out of bounds, last touched by Gareth Winchus. Here's Ty Jones for Charles Hayes. Diminutive point guard, but a phenomenal ball handler, knows how to run this offense. His third year in this system as the point guard. They get the ball into the corner, three ball, Adams got it. Rylan Adams makes it a 6-point game. It's 14-8.
And I know it's a little early in the game, but right now King George, their offense has dried up the last few possessions. This is one of those times with the ball, you really need to see some points. Don't want to get at least to like an 8-point deficit. Like I said, such an emotional team, they need to get a hot start to sort of rev up the engines for the rest of the game.
Guzina, high post, up top here for Rios. Rios drives on Layton. Rios ripped away by Pagans. Caden Pagans just took that away from Alejandro Rios.
Yeah, he's so tough. Doesn't really have the kind of length you'd think for a big, but he's so strong and tough and willing to throw his body around.
Jones, the step back, no. Dragons want to run. Rios steps back. Oh, he faked the shot. Gets it to Winchus off the window.
And they're able to make good on the running opportunity. King George needs to take those easy looks whenever they can get them, because you know Charles Hayes, they're going to be a formidable ass to try and score on in the half court.
Pagans right at Guzina. Who's that foul on? If it's on Guzina, it's his second. It is not.
Foul King
It's
George,
on Silvio
5,
Suchi.
His first of the game, 13 fouls.
You get the sense anytime the Dragons can get points from somebody not named Nikola Guzina, it's gravy. Because chances are he's going to get his 30.
Yeah, and between they're averaging 30 and 8 assists. You know he's going to be at the center of a lot of the offense. So if they can just get fast, easy ones without really having to force it through him, like you said, it's going to be an added benefit that'll do wonders down the stretch.
Wonder what his usage rate is.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I'd love to know that. But the 16 rebounds almost as important, the way that they can end a defensive possession. These Dragons can force you into tough shots, but if they can't get defensive rebounds, they're not real stops.
Yeah, and he's the guy who's playing underneath the middle of that 2-3 zone, and so it's his job to snatch those boards up.
Suchi trying to go up and under, lost it off the hand of a Charles Hayes defender.
And they've knocked a whole bunch of balls out of their hands driving now.
Charles Hayes traditionally has made deep runs in this tournament when they've had a star leading them. And Winchus finishes off the inbound play.
Winchus.
This team, though, is a different animal, just deep and very, very well coached.
That's what it is. Yeah, you know the Bishops are going to coach the heck out of this team regardless of who's on it. But it's when they had like those McChesney superstars, they were sort of semi-favorites expected to go on these runs. And everything crystallized for them last year. But this team, just a bunch of really good players. And a lot of them.
If you can play 8 good players, you're in good shape. Aiden Layton checks in for Charles Hayes a moment ago. As King George sticking with their starters here for the entire first quarter so far. Ayobe, corner triple, no. Long rebound, Winchus got it. King George will reset. Charles Hayes into a bit of a box and one with Layton on Guzina. They're just shifting. Guzina's gonna fire, leaves it short, and it's out of bounds to Charles Hayes. They're doing a good job, Zach, of getting Nikola Guzina off rhythm in the offense.
They are, and he's trying to force a little bit too much one-on-one on the perimeter. Kai Layton has done such a good job of taking away anytime he tries to drive, and if he gets any kind of space, they're quickly sending the double to take it away.
Aiden Layton spinning, trying to get inside. There's no room, but he found his brother somehow, but Kai had it knocked away. Romel Ayobe slows it down wisely as he couldn't handle the pass. We enter the final minute of play here in the first quarter. And they want Guzina posting up late, and the double comes early. Guzina doesn't have to really honor Ty Jones, who's 5'7". 3 is short from Alejandro Rios. He can just hold the ball over his head.
Yeah.
And Jones can't reach it, giving up a foot in height.
He didn't even look like he was really that phased. He could keep it so high, and he caught that ball and just turned it with one hand and didn't even have to even pass it with one hand.
Jones fires the 3. It's good. Ty Jones makes it a 9-point game. For the final possession of the first quarter, King George needs points here. As Charles Hayes just solid. Guzina, deep triple, no. Winchus, can he get it? No, he can't. Charles Hayes will get another shot at it. They can make it a double-digit lead going into the break. Layton with 2 over to Jones. Jones at the buzzer, no. And that'll do it for the first quarter, 21-12. Charles Hayes leads King George here at the BC Boys 2A Championship game. Back with the second in just a moment here on TFSETV.ca.
Some coupons from our friends at McDonald's, but if you want one, you got to make some noise. Who's hungry? We got Big Macs, quarter pounders with cheese, filet of fish, junior chickens. All kinds of good stuff. Congratulations to all of our winners, and thanks to our friends at McDonald's Restaurants right here in Langley, proud sponsors of this.
Welcome back to the Langley Event Center here on TFSETV.ca. I'm Max Sussman. With me is Zach Griffin. You're watching the BC Boys AA Provincial Basketball Championship game. And the Charles Hayes Rainmakers, the 1 seed, lead the 2 seed King George Dragons 21-12. Zach Griffin, 9 points to lead the way for Kai Layton on 4 of 6 shooting on that zone defense, so he's not being guarded by Nikola Guzina. On the other side, Nikola Guzina 1 for 6 from the floor, guarded by Kai Layton.
Yeah, you want to see a big difference right away. 50% shooting for Charles Hayes versus 22% for King George. And that's their 9 points right there. 4 of 18 from the floor versus 8 of 16. Right now, yeah, the looks are coming few and far between. That's a good look right there.
Rios makes it a 6-point game, and that's the problem with a player like Guzina. When he wants to post up, you either let him go one-on-one and he'll probably score, or you double and he'll probably find an open shooter.
Yeah, and if the shooters are going to continue to hit, and that's the thing, right now the defense has been the problem for King George. Their offense, yeah, shooting 22% isn't exactly working as well, but their 2-3 zone defense is getting picked apart quite a bit. They allowed 23 points in that quarter, or 21 points in that quarter, which is well above anything that's really seen at any point in this tournament.
Guzina stolen by Layton. Kai Layton on the break. Layton to the rim, a little hard. Ty Jones gets up to get the rebound though. Into the corner, Adams 3. Airballs it, and it's out of bounds. No, it's not. Romel Ayobe comes up with it. We're gonna see the first sub for King George. Joden Uppel is at the scorer's table. They want to post up Guzina again on the right block. Right back to Rios. Winchus, little 18-footer, no.
If you're on King George, you got to be ready any single point. The ball goes to the post to Guzina. Hands up, ready to catch and shoot.
Charles Hayes up by 8. Here's Ty Jones. Into the corner, Rylan Adams. Back to Jones. They'll get it inside to Pagans. Pagans working, kicks it back out, 3 ball. Esham no good. And the Dragons, the big defensive rebound. They'll try to slow it up. And as we saw in their last championship game against Brentwood for King George, if you can play them out of that 2-3, you take away this team's identity pretty much.
Yeah, if you can keep finding a way of just going and attacking and moving the basketball. Also, they're shooting from the outside. right on cue.
Rios.
It's really what did it to them 2 years ago. If you can force their hand, then all of a sudden, who are they? This is a team that plays a great 2-3 zone and has a great player in Guzina. If you take half of that away, and right now they're taking Guzina out of it, then who are they?
Loose ball, and it was Gareth Winchess who continues to do all the little dirty work things for this Dragons team, and they have a chance to cut this lead to 2 or 3. To 3. Yeah, to 2 or 3. I was correct.
Yeah, Winchess had 6 rebounds in that first quarter, 4 of them offensive.
Guzina, the top of the key. He'll just drive to the rack. Guzina with the finish, and Nikola Guzina makes it a 3-point game, despite the fact that it's been a struggle for him.
And
Jones.
And finally a little bit of space to operate. He finally was able to get around Kai Layton, and he's got such length that he can finish over everyone.
Rylan Adams couldn't answer. Esham the long rebound, back to Layton. Ty Jones will slow it down. We get a full shot clock reset. I just noticed Boris Obradovic in the crowd in the student section. Free ball, Adams from the corner, no. Rebound, Silvio Succi, and they'll just give it to Guzina full court with a chance to tie or make it a 1-point game. Ayobe spinning, kicking, Winchess to Rios. Rios drives, gets inside, floats it up, it hangs on the rim and falls.
Rios.
Dragons down by 1.
Yeah, that was some real good driving kick action, really shifting the defense around, and Rios found a little bit of a crack, a tough lefty floater.
Adams answers with a 16-footer from the baseline.
And they're doing a nice job. That's usually what they're doing, is they get the high post, and rather than doing the high-low action, they're putting the low post sort of in that short corner in between the 2 and 3. If it's going to the wing, they're going to be open for that little 15-footer, and that's going to be a travel call.
Rios took a lot of contact there. It was the one extra step.
Yeah, you can't give him a whistle on that one. No, well, you can whistle, but that's for the walk. You can't give him a foul on that.
Darko Kulic takes a timeout, probably a rest timeout, as the starters have been out there the whole game. Not too much different from the Rainmakers, though, as they've only had one sub. Aiden Layton came in for a few minutes, and that was it. These teams have big rosters. They're deep in terms of talent, but, you know, it's something to put up or shut up in the championship game. You got to roll with your best players.
It's your last game.
You've got 8 months off after this,
yeah,
at
no
worst.
And these are young kids. They'll be up and play. They could play another game tomorrow if they had to, even if they did play 40 minutes.
I mean, that's the thing about these tournaments, though. 4 games in 4 days. You look at like a team like Kelowna in the 4A bracket. Can you play at that pace for 4 games in 4 days? It's so punishing.
Well, that's why they have two lines of 5. So no one plays really above like 22 minutes, if that.
I bet you the starters get 23 minutes a game, and the other guys get 17. Like, that's probably what it is. You see some success from the Dragons, Zach, getting to the rim finally instead of settling for jump shots.
Yeah, it was, and not just jump shots, but contested ones. They were shooting some from the outside still, but they're doing a better job of getting open looks, and it's really as a result of the kick out action. They're getting some penetration now. They're getting the look in the post, and they're getting good kick outs as a result. So that's really what's creating a little bit more separation and time to get a more natural jump shot release.
BC Boys AA Provincial Championship game here at the Langley Event Center. Charles Hayes leads King George 25-22. Jones, the floater over Guzina. No, Guzina gets the board. Already working on another double-double as Nikola Guzina wants to find Rios. Alejandro Rios into the corner. Charles Hayes answering with a bit of a zone themselves, but it's shifting all over the place. I can't even really tell what it is. Ayobe, skip pass. Rios, one extra to Uppel. Back to Rios. Rios with 2. Guzina at the buzzer. Good! Nikola Guzina. That ball was in his hands for 0.3 of a second before he was in the basket.
And he only had 0.4 of a second to work with. No one really recognizing the shot clock till at the very end. So after all those like little razzle-dazzle one-on-one shots were coming up, to have that one go in? Okay.
Jones shoots it over the defense. No, Guzina the rebound. King George can take its first lead. And boy, can he just palm the ball. That is so, that's like an underrated impressive thing to me when you can just catch it and palm it. Offensive foul called. And a warning there for Romel Ayobe as he spiked the ball. That was a foul on Jordan Uppel.
His first personal
Moving
foul
screen.
in this contest. First team foul of the quarter.
A lot of fouls to
For
give
King
here in
George.
the second quarter. That was just the first whistle.
Oh, wow.
Jones. And if Jones can hit threes, it really opens up so much for the Rainmakers. Layton passes broken up. Gareth Winchus again.
And that has to be the adjustment. Pagans is the one kind of going to the short corner, so when they go to the high post, it draws out Kuzina, so they're going to have to send that wing player to come in and deflect and alter the passing lanes.
Jordan Uppel ripped that away. As King George takes it back. Ayobe free throw line jumper, no. King George couldn't take the lead. They had 3 cracks at it. So here go the Rainmakers. Swinging it around for Adams. Back to Jones. They want Pagans in the middle of the defense. And a foul on the hand check called on Jordan Uppel.
Hand checking is an interesting way. He was just flat out like punching him in the back, trying to create a little bit. Kai Layton felt and had a little bit of a grin on him. Uppel just trying to do anything to try and get him off his spot. It was giving a little like jabs and it was back.
Uppel giving up 6 inches to Kai Layton along the baseline there. Another steal by Alejandro Rios. Winchus got the loose ball. And I feel like we're going to say that a lot. Winchus got the loose ball.
Already have at this point.
Kuzina, a little miscommunication with Romel Ayobe.
Yeah, King George needs to settle down a little bit. They've managed to claw their way back, tie this ball game, but they've had a number of cracks to take the lead at this point. But they're getting a little bit excited. And that's the other side of a coin on a team that plays so emotional.
Esham misses the 3, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by the shooter. And I don't think in 4 or 5 years of knowing the guy, I've ever seen Darko Kulic say calm down to his team.
Yeah, I mean, Darko
If ever
Kulic-
there was a character.
Oh, the biggest character you'll see at any of these tournaments. At any points, yeah.
Players, coaches, random people in the arena. Top 5 personality in BC. Rios gets inside, floats it up, missed everything. King George starting to force it. Jones taken away by Uppel.
And he thought he was fouled. Probably has a bit of a case. He kind of took a bit of a bump, checking his arm. But Jones just kind of saying to himself, all right.
They're going to post up Guzino. Guzina kicks out. Ayobe spins on Esham. Tough shot off the side of the backboard. Loose ball, it's Kai Layton. Layton can push. And they'll get the ball to Ty Jones, top of the zone. Inside, Pagans gets position on Guzina. Guzina just trying not to foul. He already got 1.
Yeah, he basically had to concede that one. Those are one of those cases where you either foul or you just let him go, and he chose to let him go. Yeah, they did a really good job moving it, and he got stuck. So just concede it, give the layup, and that's another offensive foul.
King George called for a handful of moving screens
Foul
here
drains
already.
Uppel, that's his 3rd personal foul.
And
of
a
the
flop
game.
warning to
13th
Kai Layton.
foul of the quarter for King George.
Kulic trying to work the refs, but it was, so they call the foul, plus they give Layton the flop warning. Next one will be a technical. And I believe that's a team-wide warning too.
Yeah.
So next flop that the refs see from the Rainmakers will be a tech foul.
Let's just let it be known. They use the U as an example, but then any other flop at that point is a technical.
I like that, 1 warning for the whole team. Otherwise you could just all flop once. Adams, Pagans, baseline jumper is good. 4-point lead
Pagans.
for King George, and they'll get a timeout, a generous timeout
Timeout.
too, as it was a little bit late. You can only take a
You should
dead
have
ball
stopped by the
timeout.
Panorama Media Group
or after
photo
a basket.
booth today and get your photo
Zach,
taken. Commemorate
the ball
your
movement
time
inside this
at
2-3
great
zone. The
tournament.
Rainmakers
Panorama Media Group
have
photo
been able to
booth
break it down,
located
but
on
as
the
of
main
late, the shots,
concourse.
the closeouts have been there. They've been just missing shots.
They have been, but they've been going to this play now. It's a triple stack They got the guard underneath both Leighton and Pagans, and what they're doing is they're using one of the bigs to act as a seal. So Gazina, they're basically posting up, and that allows for free reign for one of the bigs to kind of catch it at the elbow and turn. And as a result, someone's going to come, and it's usually the far side winger who comes to challenge the big. And when that happens, they've either been getting kickouts or they've been getting easy floater driving opportunities. However, like you said, they've been missing a little bit, but it's still been getting them good looks, and those looks are going to fall as the game continues.
29-25, Rainmakers lead, looking to repeat in the BC Boys 2A bracket as champions.
Something that's never easy to do.
King George a little slow out of the huddle.
This ain't the norm. You know what I mean? It ain't Serbia, because I'll Serbia down.
Darko's going on a rant right now, and it's fantastic.
Guzina to Rios. Ayobe's gonna fire the three. No, it's long. Leighton the rebound. The Rainmakers can push it to 6 or 7 here after King George scrapped to tie it up at 25. This game is really ground to a halt offensively. There's Leighton baseline. Adams. The zone closes in. Dakota Knockwood nearly threw it away for Charles Hayes. Leighton, deep triple, no. Rebound comes to the shortest player on the Dragons, and it's Alejandro Rios. They'll slow it down. Can go 2 for 1 if they want. Rios barely across the timeline in 8 seconds, unguarded. There's Joden Uppel into the corner. Ayobe. He had 18 last night. Rios, Uppel, corner triple, that's long. And Leighton will catch the rebound on the air ball. And again, the Rainmakers can hold for the final shot of the half. A chance to extend this lead. Leighton intercepted, but it comes to Pagans up top. Adams, it's good if it goes, it doesn't. And that'll do it for the first half, 29-25. Charles Hayes leads King George. Back
29,
with the second half
King
in a few
George,
minutes.
25.
The BC Boys 2A
Fans,
championship
we'll
game
remind you, watch all
live
tournament
on
games live online at
TFSETV.ca.
TFSETV.ca. That's TFSETV.ca. Very convenient for friends and family not able to be here in person. Well, folks, it's non-stop entertainment on the court today. Tyler, over to you.
All right, everybody, it's time for the Triple O's halftime contest. We've got Lucas and Musin here. They're going to be shooting for $100 to Triple O's. First off, they're going to go free throws. Whoever does the best out of 3 will move on to that half-court shot. You ready, Lucas? Go ahead. Let's hear it for Lucas. All right, missed your first one. That's all right. That's all right, still got 2 more. Okay, that's fine. You're not the first one to miss 2 free throws. Uh-oh. All right, Musin, all you need to do is make 1. You just need to make 1. You're moving on to that half-court shot. Whenever you're ready. Ooh. All right. Oh no, you gotta want that $100 from Triple O's. Oh, we're going OT. 1 for 1, guys. 1 for 1. All right. You make this one, Musin. Moving on. There it is. There it is. All right. Musin, you're moving on for a chance to win $100 from Triple O's. Let's hear it for them. Ooh, that's all right. Everybody's going home a winner. You're both walking away with $25 to Triple O's. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Tyler, and thanks to our friends at Triple O's. One of our many great sponsors of the tournament, including some more. Mr. Mike's on 200th Street, Mucho Burrito, the Panorama Media Group, 102.7 The Peak, PHL Capital, Revolution Basketball Club, Streets Restaurant, Tourism Langley, Vancouver Island University, West Coast Basketball, and McDonald's, all proud sponsors of the 2020 75th annual, yes, 75th annual BC Boys High School Basketball Championships right here at the Langley Event Center.
Enjoy the sights and sounds of the crowd here at the Langley Event Center. Welcome back to the BC Boys 2A Provincial Basketball Championship game on TFSETV.ca. My name is Max Sussman. With me is Zach Griffin. Zach, the second quarter for King George there, a major improvement over the first. 13-8 the score in the second, and they shot the ball significantly better at 45%.
Yeah, up from 22% in the first quarter to 45%. They went 5 of 11, 3 of 5 from deep, and they held Charles Hayes to 4 of 14, 29%. So that percentage takes a drop. Only allowing 8 points in a quarter is really good, and the bulk of those came near the end. They had cut the lead down to 0. It was a tie game, and they found themselves down 4. So and those were late baskets. So they did a very good job on the defensive end. Offense has been hit or miss here and there, but we'll see what kind of adjustments Darko Kulich wants to do. And as for Charles Hayes, they know what they got to do. They got to stick with it. Their offense was pretty good in that first quarter, and they kind of got dried up. Again, getting some good looks, just can't finish. Caden Pagans had a low-key great first half, going 4 for 5.
Pagans to start the second
Now
half.
5 of 6 for 12 points. Hits the hook shot over Guzina, and Zach, the Rainmakers, 9 assists on 12 made shots in that first half. They're moving the ball so well.
Yeah, you love to see that, and that is how you beat a zone. Ball movement, making the defense move. Somehow Winchester almost got that tip in over Pagans.
Caden Pagans, second leading scorer on this team after Kai Layton. There's Layton, kicks it out. Jones, 3 ball, no good. Pagans the rebound over Guzina. Right at Guzina, up and in and one.
Pagans, basket's good.
But it's gonna be on Winchester on the hand.
King George 13, Winches.
So far, Caden Pagans in this half taking it to Nikola
George.
Guzina.
Yeah, asserting himself. It was Kai Layton at the beginning of the first half. Now at the beginning of the second half, it's Caden Pagans attacking Guzina on defense.
6 of 7 from the floor for 14 points. Layton's got 11 and 8.
Yeah, the two bigs doing the bulk of the scoring for Charles Hayes, and they're doing a really good job of making Guzina's life miserable. Still has about 10 points on 8 shots, though.
Guzina, deep jumper, no. It might have hit the shot clock there, doesn't matter. Jones has the rebound. 9-point lead all of a sudden for the Rainmakers, who start 5-0 here in the third. Every time the Rainmakers have given up a run, they've had an answer. As Winchester gets the rebound, looking for a foul. He got hit on the head there. King George coming out low energy for a Darko Kulich team out of the half.
Yeah, it's a very rare sight to see.
I like the move of Darko to just have the ball so that the refs have to talk to him. Just holds it until they come over to chat.
That's a savvy coach play. Like, you want a conversation? You have to come to me. I'm not going to pass it to you.
34-25. Ty Jones can make it a double-digit lead. Layton turns, fires. He's seemingly automatic from that spot. He missed that one.
I'm loving watching the battle down low between Winches and Pagans. When the shot's up, those two are basically having a 2-second wrestling match every single time it goes in the air.
Winches undersized in that matchup, but he's making a name for himself in this one. Hands off. Ayobe missed the 3.
Right now, King George needs someone to hit a shot. They're going off to a slow start. Yeah, that's 5-0 run. And in a game so low scoring, these kind of 9-point leads feel like 20.
Jones, it's the off the dribble 3.
Tyler Jones for 3.
And
Timeout.
King George will take a timeout. It's an 8-0 run to start the second half. They lead. Charles Hayes leads by 12.
Yeah, the offense is really the problem. Like we said, they did a real good job defensively in that second quarter. You can't expect a team to shoot 50% though from the field for an entire game, so they're doing a real good job on that regard. They're getting a lot of extra looks. Pagans has been battling so well down low. He's been giving them good looks good offense, super efficient as well, drawing fouls. But King George just can't get really anything going offensively. Their ball movement is pretty stagnant. No one's really moving, and they're just kind of resorting to any kind of drive and kick that they can get. And right now, Charles Hayes is just denying any kind of driving lanes, so it's hard to drive and kick if you can't drive.
Fair. That's the first part of the thing. (37-25) the score. 7:07 left in the third. Charles Hayes has thrown the first big punch of the second half. Now it's King George's turn to try to find an answer. And it's been mostly Caden Pagan's. 4 of these 8 points have been his. 5 of them, rather. He's got an and 1 in there. Here's Rios for Ayobe. Screen and roll with Winchus. Winchus out of bounds. Off King George.
Yeah, Winchus, a tough pass behind him, having to kind of do a 180 in order to catch it. Pagan's really making it hard for him, but he was kind of breaking that barrier and going over, so you'd think if he had found a way of getting up with it, he could have drawn a whistle.
Layton with Winchus on him. Gets into the paint. They'll swing it around. Jones back to Layton. Open 3. Kai Layton, no good. Pagan's the offensive board, right back up. Can't find it, and the rebound comes to Nikola Guzina.
Yeah, Guzina's getting bodied right now by Pagans, who's doing great work, creating a lot of extra shots for Charles Hayes. They were able to escape that possession unscathed.
Rios around a screen.
Oh,
what
nice
a
pass.
find. The finish is not there, though, and a tied ball favors King George, as it was Silvio Succi who couldn't get the finish. I don't know what this play is, but it's called Serbia. Ayobe, long 2, no good. And King George can't buy a bucket here in the second half. Shades of the first half against Brentwood College 2 years ago. Jones working on Ayobe, gets underneath, draws defenders in. They'll find Layton on the swing. He misses the 3, but a long rebound, Ty Jones. He'll shoot it. Jones hits. Oh boy, it's a 15-point lead for Charles Hayes.
Defensive rebounding is killing King George right now. You have so many guys packed in, but when they're shooting these outside shots, you kind of lend themselves to these crazy tips and long rebounds. They can't secure a rebound right now, and it's costing them.
Kai Layton doing such a good job on Nikola Guzina. Guzina draws the foul. It's on Layton, his second.
Yeah, Pagan's kind of like hitting himself in the chest saying that's my fault. But he was the one a little bit late. But man, Kai Layton did a real good job there. But yeah, you knew Pagans was the one who's going to come over and kind of trap that. Because he was a little late, he was able to sneak through, and that's where the contact happened on the leg. If Pagans is there, he can't make that turn.
Guzina's got his first 2 points of the half, the first 2 points for the Dragons overall. And down 13 here, Zach. Offensively, it's been the problem for King George. They're getting stops on defense. They just can't. The defensive rebounds will come. But how do they start scoring points?
They got to start moving the basketball a little bit more. They're trying to get Guzina one-on-one, but right now Kai Layton is getting the better of that one-on-one matchup. Someone else basically just has to hit a shot, and if they can get out and run and get easy ones, that'll be bonus.
Guzina blocked that one. His first block of the game.
There's a lot of standing right now.
Guzina wants a screen, gets going at Pagans, spins, no foul call, left the layup short. Here come the Rainmakers. They'll find Layton cutting. Layton finishes, and he answers. 15 points again, the lead.
Yeah, Darko really trying to plead his case to the officials. Thought there was a lot of contact on Guzina there. Hasn't been getting too many whistles.
Rios' jumper was blocked. Momentum all the way in favor of Charles Hayes here on a 13-2 run to start the half. Jones again, no. Rebound, Winchester went up strong for it. And they'll just start the ball in Guzina's hands on this possession. If they're struggling to get him the ball, they might as well just let him run point forward.
That's one way of doing it.
Rios. Inside Winchester, knocked away. Rios took it back. Rios drops it. Guzina, what a catch. That was a tough play. The pass was about 2 feet long.
You could read the eyes, but yeah, everyone knew that that pass was going to go to Guzina, so they collapsed accordingly, but he just kind of feathered it right to the hand of Guzina, the outstretched one that was posting up.
Nathaniel Ayobe to the scorer's table for the Dragons for the first time tonight. They've been mostly rolling with these 5. Leighton over to Rylan Adams, his runner. Baseline is good. Rainmakers are just hitting tough shots here in the second half.
And right now, that's whenever we talk about this all the time, the stop and points mentality. Right now, whenever the stops are coming, they can't seem to find a score. They got to get a bucket and they got to get a stop. Look at it in little sections of like 2 or 3 possessions. Bucket and stop, bucket and stop.
Jump hook from Nikola Guzina. Makes it a 13-point game. Adams into the corner. This is Esham. Esham out of bounds off the hand of Gareth Winchester. Nathaniel Ayobe checks in for Romel Ayobe. Ayobe for Ayobe.
There must always be one.
Here comes Ty Jones and the Rainmakers.
The coach is assuming the coaching stance, both hands on the knees on the sideline.
You can feel the intensity ratchet up for this zone defense. And a backcourt call.
A shot clock violation. Either or, take your pick. Shot clock. That's not. Yeah, that's a tough one. If it,
they had a breakaway.
Yeah, basically, and a lot of the times you can let those go. But that time it was still kind of.
You wait to see who comes away with the ball, right?
Yeah, but that time it clearly the horn had gone and no one had really established possession, so you got to blow the whistle. A tough break, but yeah, that's the right call.
Nathaniel Ayobe up top, Guzina. Run off the three-point line. Guzina, baseline, offensive foul.
Foul Dragons 9, Guzina.
I think they're saying that he kind of.
Second team foul of the quarter.
And they're calling a technical on Darko. And someone. Yeah, they're thinking they're calling the foul on. He said he would kind of hooked it. He couldn't hooked his arm.
Foul on Darko Kulic.
Darko's just finding out that he got the technical.
Foul, King George bench. The 10, Kai Layton at the line for Charles Hayes.
Some confusion here on the King George bench as to why there was a technical foul called. Controversial call there on the offensive foul on Guzina, his second. I guess they got called the hook there.
That was where the arm was. Yeah, they called a hold was the offensive call. And Darko pleading, he doesn't know why he got technical. He was just taking his shirt off is what he was doing, and that's where the technical happened. And he's got to watch it. He's got to calm down because he was real close to getting a second one.
Dylan Calder into the game for the first time. Corner triple for Charles Hayes, no. Leighton on the rebound is good. Winchester saved it right to Kai Leighton. Tough swing there. A 5-point possession pretty much for Charles Hayes.
It's been a rough sequence from the offensive foul to the technical, and then that 2 points from a save. Momentum firmly still in Charles Hayes' hands.
Suchi answers from 3.
Suchi.
And that was a much-needed bucket for King George in the final 90 seconds of this third quarter. 47-34 the score. Charles Hayes leads. King George with it all to do here. Knockwood to Calder. Calder, baseline jumper, no. Long rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Kai Leighton. Charles Hayes would love a stop here because slowly but surely, momentum starting to shift back towards the middle at least. If there's like a progress bar, to use a video game analogy.
King George needs to find a way to get it within 10 going into the fourth.
Guzina fouled by Layton. That's 3 on Kai Layton. So now, why not just clear out for Guzina, go straight at Layton. Family broadcast here. You're watching the BC Boys AA Finals on TFSC.ca, TV.ca rather. Guzina spins, kicks, winches, head of steam, floats it up, no, gets his own rebound. Out of bounds, last touch by Silvio Succi. He had Guzina open at the top of the key. Oh, and they'll overturn that call. It seemed a little weird. It looked, they were saying that Winches just threw it out of bounds, which just doesn't happen really.
Well, it kind of got deflected, and Succi kind of pulled up like he knew it was deflected and went out of bounds. King George all turned towards their coach like didn't understand that call. But yeah, the baseline official overturned the far side. Probably saw the deflection.
Kai Layton is out. Let's see what Nikola Guzina can do without Layton on the floor. Succi from the corner, no. Rebound.
That would have been big if King George could have got that one.
Rebound for Dakota Knockwood. Hayes can run down this clock to about 6 seconds before they take a shot. And the vet Ty Jones will do just that. Fouls to give though for King George if they want to get a little more physical.
If they do that though, then it'll basically reset the shot clock and it will be the last second. But yeah, if you want to concede, you can do that.
Jones takes a tough shot, airballs it, and King George with a chance to make it a 10-point game at the end of the third. Surely they're going to try to run a play for Nikola Guzina. Rios lost his footing. They'll get it in, and they'll fumble the bag there. 47-34 the score after 3. King George struggling to claw their way back into it. It was tied at 25 at one point.
34. Hey fans,
we'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a minute here on TFSC TV.
Kahuna Sports is a proud sponsor of the tournament right now. We're looking for the best dancers, the Langley Event Center. So if you want a free basketball, show us what you got. Here we go. Come on now. Free basketball from Kahuna Sports. Come on. Who wants it? It's him. There's your winner right there. Congratulations, young man. Thanks to our friends at Kahuna Sports. Fans, don't forget to stay with us after the game for our AA Championship Award Ceremony.
Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter here on TFSCTV.ca. BC Boys AA Provincial Basketball Championship game. The King George Dragons trail the Charles Hayes Rainmakers 47-34. Kai Layton leads all scorers with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Nikola Guzina 16 points, 4 boards, and an assist. 1 assist, 3 turnovers though. And Caden Pagans, 6 of 8, 15 points, 6 boards for Charles Hayes. Rainmakers will start with the ball. King George needs to make a comeback. They've already made a pretty big comeback today. They got to make a second one. Layton's playing with 3 fouls. Rylan Adams, tough shot, no good. Rebound, tipped by Guzina. Pagans has it. Now Guzina's got the board. King George needs to play with pace here. I'm Max Sussman. With me is Zach Griffin. Zach, as Rios hits the 3. Zach, what did Charles Hayes do so well defensively to hold King George to 9 points?
Their rotations have been super on point. The way they've been able to get on help defense, it looks like a zone defense. It really isn't. It's just everyone is playing super off and right there whenever there's any kind of penetration, it's getting stymied at the point of basically where decision time. Are we going to take a shot? It's going to be a pass. It doesn't matter. All of a sudden there's a set of hands in your way, and they're forcing King George to make tough decisions and settle for really tough shots.
King George needs a stop here. They got one, but they couldn't get the defensive rebound. Layton with Nathaniel Leobe on him. Esham, all the ball fakes. Rylan Adams tied up. That's a jump ball. It's King George basketball.
So they've got off to the good start, a three-pointer and now a stop. They need to start stringing more of these together if they're wanting to make a comeback. Only 10 points, plenty of basketball games still to be played. But they have to make things start rolling a little sooner rather than later.
They just got to do better than 30% from the field as a team. Ayobe, Winchus, skip pass, Rios. Rios inside, drops it off. Tough take, and that's a travel. Probably could have called a jump ball, but it wouldn't have mattered either way.
Either way, yeah, it was going to be a change of possession. Suchi kind of got stuck, and Pagans, who's been playing, he's a big boy, but playing well above his size as well, the way he's been battling down low and challenging at the rim. Anything within 5 feet has been extremely difficult and taking low percentage shots.
Rebound, Layton's got it, back up, no, he'll draw the foul though. And again, the offensive rebounding to Charles Hayes. They've got 10.
Foul Dragons,
3 in the fourth quarter.
His second personal foul.
Yeah, they had only 3 offensive rebounds at halftime, and they've gotten 7 now in the second half, mostly by Pagans, who's up to now about 8 rebounds or so, half of which have been on the offensive end.
Ty Layton hits the first, makes it an 11-point game. Defensive rebounding, the bugaboo for King George, so they're winning the rebounding battle. Sorry, no, I misread that. I thought they had 34. They've got 21. It's 34 points. They're doing well on the glass, but on the defensive glass, it's been a problem.
You're giving them so many extra shots. They're not shooting a crazy high percentage, just under 40%. But the multitude of shots, they've gotten 7 extra shots over King George.
Give and go, Rios, baseline, up and under. The finish is pretty, and it's a 10-point game again, but they can't crack single digits. They need a stop.
They got to get a stop, and Rios has been really coming alive in this second half. He's hit a couple from the outside. He's gotten 5 straight points for King George. Someone other than Guzina, and that could have been easily called a travel. Instead, it's going to be the 4th foul on Guzina.
3rd foul.
Was it that 3rd foul? It's the 3rd foul. Rios tried to point to the air saying it was him who fouled. You're not usually going to get that in a championship game.
Big free throws for Tyler Jones, rather, sorry.
I had to correct myself as well.
I'm used to Tyus's in the Trinity program. Second free throw is good. Big shots for Ty Jones. King George down 12. They've gotten it to 10 a couple times, but they can't break through. Inside to Guzina. Guzina doubled. Back up top, Rios. Rios fires, no good. Esham the board. Rios has been the gunner from 3 of 6 from downtown, but he missed that one.
Yeah, Tyler Jones doubling, basically kind of acting the way Guzina does when he doubles him, not even really looking at him. He's just kind of putting his hand there, knowing the pass is going back to Rios, and he rotated well and got a good hand in his face.
Adams. Layton, corner triple, big shot, no good. Defensive rebound, who's got it? It's gonna be King George ball. As they'll just give it to Gareth Winchus for the position there pretty much.
Yeah, the way that it went out of bounds, you expect the person who was jumping up as opposed to jumping forward and knocking it, the ball, the way that, the direction it went, it's safe to say it went off of white last. Although that's a really hard call to make.
It's impossible. Romel Ayobe working inside, kicks it out to Rios. Rios, head fake. He'll just take the shot off the window, no. Kai Layton's got the rebound.
This is turning into a super physical, chippy game. Bodies hitting the floor on every shot.
Charles Hayes starting to work clock here midway through the 4th. Layton working on Guzina. They'll reset with Penn. Jones around the screen. Jones with 4, goes at Guzina, kicks. Layton's open with 1, no good. The rebound comes long, and it's Rylan Adams.
Guzina went for the run out and the big man was outside. He had to go out to challenge the shot, but afterwards went for a run to kind of cherry pick and couldn't get back in time to get that board.
King George has switched to a man. With Guzina on Layton. Adams stripped by Winchus, out of bounds off Adams. Gareth Winchus only has 4 points, but has had one heck of a game.
Rebounding the basketball at his size is something we saw from like Zach Smith and Vernon. He's like a really robust football player. Winchus is just willing his way into every single board discussion.
Romele Obe.
Not a lot of space right now.
4 defenders on 3 King George players on this side of the floor. Guzina inside, throws it at the rim, draws the foul. If that's on Layton, it's his 4th.
And it will be on Layton.
Big foul drawn by Nick Guzina. And why not just have him go at him every time at this point? He can't really defend with 4 fouls. He'll have to either switch somebody else onto Guzina or just like concede points pretty much.
It is, yeah, that's the pill they're going to have to swallow. They're going to leave Layton in there, it looks like. As Guzina misses the free throw, but another rebound for Winchus.
Guzina drops it off. And now it's a 9-point game with the finish from Silvio Succi.
And they've switched to a man, and they're going to be picking up pretty much at half court right away at full court if they can, if you're Rios. But throwing them a different look, giving them something else to consider. They knew they were going to be facing the 2-3. Now we'll see if this throws them off their game.
And that's going to be a foul on Guzina. Darko Kulic wants a timeout. That's 4 on Guzina, 4 on Layton, and that's been, 2 really good offensive players going at each other all game can lead to that when they're kind of going one-on-one.
Well, it's only been really the last sequence. They switched to that man-to-man defense. It's just been basically Guzina having to be the big guy guarding and shot blocking at the rim. But yeah, if it's going to be one-on-one, both those players playing with 4 fouls, it really forces your hand.
Rainmakers can throw somebody like Rylan Adams on Nikola Guzina. Now, he's not going to have the same kind of matchup success as Kai Layton, but he's got similar length at 6'2". Layton already given up size. You're going to give up size to Guzina.
I wonder if maybe they'll switch, maybe have Pagans guard him a little bit and have someone else trying to help onto him. Because Pagans has been really good at rotating, but I think they're going to try and stick with Layton for the most part.
Now does King George go back to their zone to try to hide Guzina?
Well, he's picked up 3 fouls playing in the zone and 1 playing in man, so it's tough. Both those players are going to have to play so tentative. It's going to be kind of interesting the last 5 minutes here, seeing who's going to be willing to risk it all and get really aggressive. Layton has the luxury of playing with a 9-point lead, however.
Exactly, 9-point lead, 51-42, 4:51 to go here in the 4th quarter of the BC Boys AA championship game.
They've got Guzina on Pagan, so he can help and challenge.
Jones gets inside, over Guzina. Hesitant on the shot block attempt. It's an 11-point game.
Yeah, you get the feeling if 2 fouls on him, he goes up there and tries to swing at that thing. But they need him for these last 4.5 minutes.
Guzina draws another foul. That'll be on Brendan Esham. I really wish there was a fouls drawn stat.
Oh man.
It's like really important.
Yeah.
Even if you're not getting free throws. It just indicates pressure put on the defense by you. Rios to inbound. They want Guzina off of several screens. They got to get it in though. Winchus driving on Pagans, kicks. 3-ball, Succi rims it out. And the King George student section was ready to explode if that went in. King George needs Zach to string some stops together.
A bucket and a stop. Let's start with a stop here.
Layton, 3-ball, no. Rebound, Guzina rips it away from Pagans.
And they got to make sure they're getting every defensive rebound they can. Cannot afford to give up extra shots.
Guzina draws another foul. And that was the last foul to give. Never mind. Sorry, I had it backwards. One more foul to give for Charles. It just feels like there's been so many fouls in this 4th quarter. I figured there was going to be shots there. Another inbounds play. for King George, who've had pretty good success off inbounds plays. Ayobe wide open. Pagans chasing the rebound down. They're trying to make Pagans a dribbler there. Layton into the corner, back to Layton. Jones will slow it down. So important to have a veteran point guard like Tyler Jones, the 12th grader.
Knowing when to slow down, when you need to speed up is so valuable.
They got Gareth Winchess on Kai Layton, and that's a foul on Winchess. That's the final foul to give King George has. They need a stop. 3:27 to go. Esham up top to Jones. 14 on the shot clock. Jones, Rios right in his jersey. Jones steps back, 3 ball. Oh! Tyler Jones with what feels like a dagger. It's a 14-point game with 3:10 to go.
Yeah, basically, Tyler Jones, these next few shots that go in feel more and more, like you said, the dagger's getting deeper and deeper into King George. They need a response.
Rios can't answer. Layton the big rebound. 14-point lead, Charles Hayes. And they'll run clock again, 2:40 to go. Floater, oh boy, 16 points. It was a 9-point game and a 7-0 run for the Rainmakers. King George just can't get stops down the stretch here.
Yeah, and that time they just cleared out. Rylan Adams had the side of the floor to himself, and Mel Bishop was just saying, clear out everyone, and he just made a play. And right now, like we said, this team is so deep, so many guys can get their shots. There's a perfect example of that. Tyler Jones with what, like you said, starting to feel like the dagger.
The step back, oh boy.
Stopping on a dime and nothing but net. Yeah, and you can see here, you see Mel Bishop just shooing everyone off to that side of the floor. And now with a 16-point lead, now you really have to start making things happen. You have to start getting super aggressive. I don't know if King George has any kind of full court press in their sleeve. Probably. But again, this is a team whose identity is that 2-3 zone. So I wonder how much they've played it, because they have to start making things happen now. 16 points in 2.5 minutes is not impossible. High degree of difficulty, though. It would give you a really high score in the diving category if you could nail it.
Ayobe off the dribble 3. No. Pagans the rebound. And it's Charles Hayes can ice the game as free throws for Ty Jones on the hand check call on Nathaniel Ayobe.
Yeah, he just grabbed a handful of jersey. What? Is that such a problem? That's allowed, right?
I'm sorry, I thought this was the free world.
Oh, this is America.
Jones misses the free throw. 2:15 to go, 58-42. Rainmakers lead. Trying to complete a season in which they have not lost to any AA teams.
They've not lost to anyone in AAA or below. Only 2 losses were to Centennial and to Handsworth. Handsworth will be playing for the 3rd place game around this time right now over at center court.
Jump ball possession arrow favors Charles Hayes. And barring anything crazy, it's starting to feel like Charles Hayes is gonna repeat. Jones with 1:45 left. Layton, they're happy to hold till the end of the shot clock. Esham back to Layton. Back to Jones, little pick and roll with Layton. Jones, oh, the double team split was beautiful, but the ball was knocked away. Ayobe drops it off Winchess, lost the handle. Tied ball, this one favors King George. You'd love to see Nick Gazina run in there immediately to help his scrappy teammate Gareth Winchester up off the floor.
Yeah, Winchester has been doing all of the greasy, the tough stuff, all the things that happen that you need to have to win a championship. He's been trying, he's been doing. The failure to score the basketball down the stretch has really been killing King George. Throughout this game, it's been hard for them to get any kind of good look, any kind of easy bucket.
Kuzina wants to drive, pulls up from 16, leaves it short.
Yeah,
1:10 to go here in the fourth quarter, 17-point deficit for King George. 3 ball, good, Rylan Adams. That's the final nail in the coffin. Charles Hayes is gonna repeat as champions. Up 20 here, and again, Nikola Kuzina and Darko Kulic come up just short in the championship game.
That's twice now they've been so close. Can taste it, but they just run into these buzzsaws. Brentwood College 2 years ago and Charles Hayes this year.
Teams that could compete in 3 or 4A.
Easily. They've beaten those top 2 teams.
3 ball, Uppel, got it. Too little, too late though for King George. Darko's calling for the fouls. Never give up. Uppel gets a late whistle. Is that going to be an unsportsmanlike call? It is. No effort to play the ball, I think, is the call there.
It's one of those transition plays as well. They kind of got beat and no effort yet to take the basketball.
Jones hits the first.
So 2 free throws and the basketball.
Layton, 3 ball. The Rainmakers are celebrating on the bench already. It's 35 seconds left until Charles Hayes repeats as champions. Guzina misses. Layton the rebound. The Rainmakers can get it across the timeline and hold as the clock expires. As Mel Bishop has turned Charles Hayes from the tiny Prince Rupert, British Columbia, into an absolute championship factory. As the final seconds of this season tick away, let it rain, let it rain. The Charles Hayes Rainmakers are bringing the championship trophy back to Prince Rupert for the 2nd year in a row. 67-45, Rainmakers repeat. Caden Pagans with a phenomenal game in the post as he just went right at Nikola Kuzina, who had a pretty solid game as well for King George. The shots just weren't falling, Zach Griffin.
Yeah, it was just when things started to get a little bit closer and more comfortable for King George. It was the start of the second half. They couldn't get a defensive rebound. They couldn't get a bucket. And just slowly chipping away. Charles Hayes does what they do. They continue to attack you on both sides of the basketball until all there's left to do is shake hands and cut down the net.
Stay tuned for the medal ceremony, the all-star announcements and whatnot, stuff like that coming up from Ken Winslade Court here at the Langley Event Center. That'll do it for the 2A championship tournament. 67-45 the final score. Charles Hayes repeats as champions of British Columbia. King George takes home their 2nd silver medal in 3 seasons under Darko Kulic. That's it for us. For Zach Griffin, all the staff here at the LEC, including those guys in the broadcast booth, I'm Max Sussman. Until next season, love you. Bye-bye.